At ease. It's your boy Soul Immortal. Man, I could never get married. But it's not because I'm incapable of loving. It's because of what I know, man. See, society has taught you that what a man is supposed to do is become a better version of himself. You know, get a job, find him a wife, have 2.5 kids, a dog, white picket fence. But man, that is not the American dream. Not only is that not what man wants, that's not even what the women of the world want. You know, they've taught you that, you know, find you a good wife and love her till death do you part and blah 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 blah. But that's not even part of our makeup, man. You know, man, I just find it ironic how what the majority of men think that a woman wants from him, or what he's supposed to offer to a woman, the majority of what men think is the complete opposite, man. You ever seen you get those letters in the mail, man, where they want you to apply for a credit card, and you'll look at it and they'll say something like, hey, you're pre-approved for, you know, $2,000 or $3,000, $5,000 or whatever. And you open it up, man, and you're like, man, this looks like a pretty good deal. And then you look at the bottom, you read the small print, and it's like, you know, 25% APR, $100 a year, so-and-so fees, and you just like, what the world? Like why in the hell would I get myself into that? Or you ever look at TV, man, and you see those commercials, man, for different medications, and they'll say, hey, this cures your back pain. And then a little guy come on with the fast voice, and they'll say, you know, may cause bleeding from the ears, you can't drive a vehicle, may cause dizziness, may cause suicidal thoughts. And you're like, who in the hell would take that to cure something simple like a headache or whatever the case may be? Well, guys, what you don't understand is that marriage comes with a disclaimer like that as well. But the majority of men are not aware of it. Now, the last thing I want to do is bore you with some biblical content. But if we look briefly at the life of Samson in the Bible, man, not only can we see the true nature between the relationship between men and women, but we can also see the disclaimer if we pay attention. Now, just briefly, man, a young Samson, man, when he was a young man, he was hanging out in town. He saw a young lady that he was attracted to. He went back to his parents and said, hey, you know what? I found the one. This is the woman I want to marry. His parents set the marriage up, or the wedding up. Back then, the wedding was a 7-day feast. During this 7-day feast, the men of the town went to his soon-to-be wife and wanted a certain secret to be disclosed. So his wife went to him, or soon-to-be wife went to him and begged him and got the secret out of him. Once she disclosed this secret to the men of the town, all hell broke loose. Once Samson went and handled his business, he came back and said, where's my wife? And they said, your wife, she left with your partner, man. She's gone. She's with the best man. You know what I mean? And you would have thought that Samson would have learned his lesson going through that whole scenario, but he didn't. Because later on, you can read a series of other events took place, and this is what I want to focus on. If you look at the book of Judges, chapter 16 and 4, it says this. And it came to pass afterward that he loved a woman in the valley of Sorek, whose name was Delilah. Now, this scenario, man, was exactly like the scenario from years before, man. He was getting ready to marry Delilah, and again, the upper officials came to Delilah and said, you know what, Samson, he has so much strength, he's so powerful, he's so focused. He said, they said, tell us where his secrets lie, and we'll give you all this money. So Delilah went back to Samson, and she was like, baby, like how are you so focused? How are you so powerful? Like, where do you get your strength from? And he said, you know what? If you tie me up with 7 green withs, all my strength will be gone. So she let him go to sleep that night. She tied him up with 7 green withs, and boom, he broke loose the next morning. And she was like, baby, you lied to me. So he was like, you know what? I'm gonna tell you the truth. If you tie me up with some brand new rope, all my strength will be gone. So she tied him up with with some brand new rope. And the next morning he woke up, boom, broke loose. And she was like, baby, like why do you keep lying to me? Why don't you just tell me where your power lies? And he said, you know what? I'll tell you how to do it. He said, if you tie my hair up in 7 locks in a web formation and do this and do that, he said, all my strength will be gone away from me. So she let him go to sleep again, and she did that. The next morning, he woke up, boom, broke loose. Now, you would think that at this time, Samson would have said, you know what, this woman she has some kind of motive. But his mind was so clouded with love, he couldn't see it, man. And a lot of us, we get like that. But this is where it gets good, man. On the 4th time she came to him. And you gotta look at Judges 16 and 15. And it says this. It says, and she said unto him, how can you say you love me with thine heart? How can you say you love me when your heart is not with me? You have mocked me 3 times and have not told me wherein your great strength lies. And it came to pass when she pressed him daily with her words and urged him so that his soul was vexed unto death, that he told her all his heart. And said unto her, there hath not come a razor unto mine head, for I have been a Nazarene unto God from my mother's womb. If I be shaven, then my strength will go from me, and I will become weak and be like any other man. So this is where it gets good, man. This is where we can see the disclaimer of Delilah. And it said that when Delilah saw that he had told her all his heart, she went and called for the Lord of the Philistines, saying, come up this once, for he has shown me all his heart. And the Philistines came unto her and brought her money. Now, what she did after that, she waited till he went to sleep again. She laid him down in his lap, she rubbed him to sleep, and she got some other guy to come in and cut his hair and took all his strength. And in my mind, I'm thinking, like, haven't we talked about this before? Like, I made videos called While You Was Sleeping. I made videos talking about called The Marriage Experience. We talked about all this. I made a video called Sexual Cannibalism. And it's talking about this. And this is the irony of marriage, guys. Women love you for your power, but will hate you if you relinquish it, even if it's to them. And the Delilah effect is this. You can give a woman your time. You can give a woman your attention. But as soon as you give a woman your heart, and when I say heart, as soon as you give a woman the thing that makes you a man, the thing that gives you power, as soon as you give that to a woman, she's lost interest. She's cashing in. You know, this is why I started thinking about all this again, man, because a few days ago I ran across a female friend of mine, and you know, we chopped it up for a second. And she was just telling me about, you know, her boyfriend, right? Now, I saw her about 6 or 7 months ago, right? When she first met this guy. And man, she was head over heels for this dude, man. She was telling me how great he was, how handsome he was. I mean, she was into this guy, right? But it was a completely different story this time, right? So she was telling me, how she was kind of losing interest in this. And I'm like, well, what is he doing? Like, what's the problem? And she was like, oh, well, he's doing this, and he's doing that, and he's doing this. And what she was explaining to me was all these nice guy gestures that he was doing. He was doing all this sweet stuff for and that. But she wasn't saying that, but this is what I was hearing. And then she said this. She said, and then he did this, and it just turned me completely off. And what the guy did, he lived out of town. She said, he told me that he was going to come see me one day during the week. And I said, and she said to him that, hey, do you have vacation? Do you have PTO time? And he was like, no, I'm just going to come see you. And she said, so you're just going to just take a loss to come see me? And he was like, yeah. Now, him thinking that was just like the ultimate gesture of him loving her. What she told me, she said, that turned me completely off. She said, I lost all interest in that. And that goes back to what we've been saying, man. Once you give a woman that much power, she loses interest in you. And that's kind of like when I think about marriage, right? Every man, every woman, I don't care if they admit it or not, they know that marriage is lopsided. They know that once a man signs that dotted line, that he's pretty much put his balls on a platter and exposed himself. That everything he's worked for, that everything he has can be just gone in seconds. In my mind, that is giving another person ultimate power. And I just, in my mind, I think that even if women don't admit it, I think that something inside of them begins to lose interest. I think back, man, I can go back to my marriage, man. My marriage, when I was married several years ago, I dated my high school sweetheart, man. We met when I think I was 16 or 15, so we dated for years, right? Beautiful relationship, man, young relationship. And I remember this. I remember when we got married, we packed up and we moved to Georgia. And that trip from East Texas to Georgia, we argued the entire time. And now I get it, man. I get it. I understand the shift. Even after I got divorced, man, I was in a long-term relationship. Beautiful woman, fine, sexy, sweet, nice. Man, we went to Bahamas together. We did a lot of things together, had fun. But once the relationship went to a certain point, once I began giving my heart to this woman, it slowly started to change. It started going downhill. And I had no idea why. I could think about all the relationships, man, that I've been in, and I can almost pinpoint the exact time frame when things started to shift. And at the time, I just didn't know why. And that's what a lot of guys got to realize. And it's not just marriage, it's relationships, period. For you guys you young men that are in relationships, you have to understand this, guys. She's attracted to you for a certain reason. But as soon as you give up your manhood, and that's the thing, man, society, movies, television shows, they teach us that, hey, you know what? This is how you're supposed to interact with a woman. But what they're teaching us, man, is untrue. It's ironic. I don't know, man. It's crazy. But anyway, it's your boy Soul Immortal. And I'm out.